What's up, y'all? Good to see you. This one right here, we're probably just gonna just immediately go with it. I'm setting up some stuff you guys can see. So sorry about the late start. Had to really set everything back all the way up for the channel for a few things. So that's why it's a little delayed, the show. My bad about that. Anyway, welcome. Good to see y'all in the chat. Y'all already know it's been an interesting week. You guys can turn your cameras on if you want now. It's showtime. But it's been an interesting week. We had the Xbox Bethesda showcase. We had some news that just dropped, obviously with Final Fantasy and games like Returnal. And, you know, got a lot of other stuff we got to talk about. Shout out, Nova King. I see you in the chat. What's up, Nova? And, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this. Every last little bit of this. All right. Red Hood 420, I think, is being camera shot today. I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm on Discord real quick. I have to go to my computer in a minute because I was outside.
So too much Steam Decks, you trying to say?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But no, a lot of news happened. You got the Xbox showcase, as well as Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII anniversary.
No, yeah, big announcement.
All I can say, Capcom showcase, and all I gotta say, Final Fantasy VII anniversary, 25th anniversary, definitely probably the best stream out of all of them, if I'm gonna be honest.
Wow, that's a bold statement coming from you.
Plus, we got Dragon's Dogma, lots of things.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma too.
And probably the most amazing
Capcom
third-party game we saw at the Xbox showcase called Wolong. Remember that? That looks amazing. I can't wait to see how that.
Dude, up. Yeah, of course.
So,
like that was like
game of show.
I mean, well, I guess we'll are we gonna get into it now?
Yeah, we're gonna get.
But I mean, like there wasn't a whole lot that was like amazing at that show. There was lots of like really good games that I like. That looked good that I certainly want to play, but there wasn't like a lot of moments where I was like, damn, like that's a
and you went
like,
there.
Like Resident Evil 4, you know what I mean? Like or Street Fighter 6 or like there wasn't moments like that, but Wolong for me, at least personally, like that was like the big moment. That was the first time in the show where I was like peeking in closer, like what am I? Because I mean, like I love Neo, man. Like I played the hell out of Neo. I played the heck out of Neo 2. I played the remasters on PS5. I beat them all again last year. Yeah, like dude, like Team Ninja. And this is, you know, the funny thing about it too is like, it does seem like then that Team Ninja has like the A team and the B team, and that the B team was working on Stranger of Paradise, right? Because that like I just finished platinuming that game, and it's actually like pretty good gameplay wise, but graphically, Jesus, like a PS3 game, man. I can't believe something that bad got released on PS5, but. Yeah, man. Like obviously, the A team is working on Wolong while the B team was working on Strangers of Paradise.
Hunter, I feel like when you were saying about Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise, I feel like no one cared about the story until the end. Like when people like saw the end credit scenes and stuff like that, where it's like truly connecting with FF1. That was when people you know, this is crazy, and everything else after that, no one really cared too much.
Let's get into this though. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see y'all going already flowing in. If you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and do so. Please hit that share button. Let's share the stream out. Big shout out to Ice Queen Gaming being a channel member for 16 months. I appreciate the months of support, Ice Queen. Thank you very, very much. You guys want to become a channel member? Just click that join button. Literally, as low as $1 if you want to support the show on a monthly basis. But you guys being here is just enough. Now, y'all see the title. Y'all can tell by the energy. Funny thing is, we had some weird comments last show when I was talking about it. I was trying to get you guys in the conversation. I was like, okay, so expectations going into this Xbox show. Everybody just want, just, like the bar was set that low for so many of you for this show. And when we went into this, I know a lot of you guys were like, yo, Big Clock, you didn't even stream this event. You streamed everything, but you didn't stream this. You didn't stream the Capcom. Well, some stuff came up, and on top of that, honestly, I don't know. Something told me not to stream. I just wasn't feeling it. I really wasn't feeling the energy going into this show. So I sat back. I'm in the Discord call with the guys. I'm watching Death Singer lose his mind over Forza for the bajillionth time. So we saw Forza. Then we saw Forza Hot Wheels. I'm like, okay, they're starting off pretty strong. They're showing off Forza. It looks good. After Forza was shown and we saw Redfall, I felt like the show just started to dip downwards. Redfall actually looked okay. It looked better than we saw for the final game. But when we saw the Redfall showcase, I'm sitting there going, okay, Redfall, gameplay-wise, it looks fun. It looks like something we can all get behind. This is like a cool little party game, right? No, that's about it. Little party game, little horde mode, little fun here and there, sure. But once Redfall was done, I kept asking myself, wasn't this game supposed to drop this year, right? This was the game that was dropped this year, and this is the game that got delayed. It didn't look polished.
It's supposed to be dropped like now.
Yeah.
Like it was like June, July. Like that was the original date.
It didn't look optimized, did it for you? Or not optimized. It didn't look polished, for the game. And I was like, that's the next
compared to Starfield, it certainly did.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
That's for sure.
We'll get to that.
But I mean, they started off the show with Redfall, and I have to say it's kind of funny actually because before the show, I was thinking that I would probably be underwhelmed by Redfall, and I was hoping that I'd be blown away by Starfield, and it turned out to be exactly opposite. I can't even imagine how opposite. It's just I actually thought Redfall looked good. I thought it looked fun. I thought it kind of reminds me of Deathloop where you're stranded in this it's I guess an island, it seems like, where they the vampires have sucked away the water so you can't get out. But dude, it looked like 4-player co-op Left 4 Dead kind of thing, with
that's what I took
vampires
from it too, yeah,
instead of zombies. And yeah, dude, it literally just reminded me of Deathloop, but 4 players and put vampires in there, right? It looked really fun, man. So I can't wait to play that. The other thing too that this is one of the reasons why I had low energy going into this is because we thought that Xbox wasn't going to have a single first party game come out this year, and that's what we thought going into it. And I was just hoping that they would announce something, but turns out they didn't, and they actually do not have any first party titles. But the other thing is too man, they are so lucky that they purchased Bethesda, because if they didn't purchase Bethesda, first of all, this show would have just been a disaster. And second of all, what would they have to show? It's unbelievable. The show began and ended with Bethesda games, and then we also got the Obsidian game, what is it, Penticent or whatever, in the middle that looked really good. But it's these are all the games that are coming out in the next year. They also had Minecraft and Forza, which are coming out next year, which means literally if they never purchased Bethesda in the next year, all we would have is Minecraft and Forza. And bear in mind that we had no first party games the whole first 6 months of the year. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say, man. I'm trying not to be like too frustrated, but like this console launched with no first party games. They had first party games last year, but like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Could you imagine Nintendo? Just think about it in another scenario. Could you imagine Nintendo had a console? They launched the console with no games, and then the second year they had a handful of games, and then the third year they also had none. Like, could you even imagine? Could you imagine Sony having no games? Like, I don't know what's going on, man.
You know, like this is piggyback off of what you just said. Again, yeah, the Redfall was cool, but he was like, what could they possibly shown? I mean, where's Hellblade? You know,
well, I mean,
like, where's Hellblade 2? Where's the Avowed? Where's the update on Perfect Dark or Indiana Jones? You know, or a third party deal with the 007. You know what I mean? Like something of that nature. Like, where's the WoW factor?
Yeah.
There was no WoW
Where's GoldenEye?
Yeah, there's no WoW factor.
Yeah,
at the show.
It's so weird because I think Microsoft was responding to criticisms that we've had last year and the past few years where they mostly just show CG and have like very little gameplay. So this time they came out. They had first party games like, last year. What's her name? Sarah Bond or whatever at the beginning was just came out and she's like, look, all these games are coming out in 12 months. We're going to have more gameplay than we've ever shown. They did. They had lots of gameplay, which looked awesome. But like the thing is that they just completely went to the other end of the spectrum and went like all gameplay, all coming out soon. And it's like, you should have, like, who made that decision? Because that was a bad decision. But what you should have done is you should have had like 75% or 80% coming out this year gameplay with 20% teasing, right? Like what Sony did with like Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine or whatever, right? Like, dude, like show us Indiana Jones. Like, where's GoldenEye? Where's Killer Instinct? Where's Banjo-Kazooie?
Yep.
Where's Fable?
I agree.
Where's Perfect Dark? Like
I agree with you 100%.
I just can't believe it, dude. I just thought like, but here the thing is too is like the thing that I actually like really want to make clear though is like probably half or more of those games that they showed at the showcase I'm gonna play. They looked interesting. Like
it just wasn't the games we needed to see, if that makes sense, for what we just saw from Sony State of Play. And mind you, Sony State of Play was third party focused. You know what I mean? That was focused on just VR and third party titles. That's it. They didn't say this is our look into our future PS5 games, because we already saw those hands on. You know what I mean? We saw Spider-Man 2. We know Wolverine's coming. We have a lot of games on the PlayStation side. So if you're a PlayStation gamer, you're eating good. You just got the announcement for Last of Us Remake, and we saw the screenshots. You know, the in-engine look. So you're going out good for PlayStation. It's just, this was the show, honestly, that needed to hit all the right cylinders. You know what I mean? It just needed to, and it just didn't do it. Now like at the end of the show, they showed off the game that was and you know, I know you've seen this all over Twitter because every time I saw you announce something for, you know, PlayStation, or a game announced for PlayStation, what did these dudes say, Hunter? Well, Starfield's gonna beat that. Starfield's gonna do this. Starfield's gonna outsell Spider-Man. Starfield's gonna be the dawning of the age. I'm like, guys, we haven't never seen gameplay for that game until
the thing is though is like these people may not actually be wrong. Like the thing, like people just, well, I think they're going to be wrong because of Game Pass, and obviously sales are going to be a lot less. But like, had there been no Game Pass, I still think that tens of millions of people would buy this. Like, the thing is, man, like we are like so plugged in. We are hardcore gamers. We are on every forum. We are on watching every piece of news. But like, the majority of gamers aren't like that, man. Like, look at what happened with Cyberpunk, man. Like, how many millions of copies of Cyberpunk sold now? I can't. I've lost track, but it was like 20 million or something, right? 15, 20. I don't know, man. Like, dude, it was like 10 plus million. They had the
marketing on point for Cyberpunk. It's just the game didn't deliver on the promises. That was.
Yeah. But I think Starfield's the same thing, man. Like.
Yeah.
The game's riding on hype. Like Bethesda has a lot of fans, especially Todd Howard and what his team makes. There's going to be 10 million people that are going to buy this game, well, play it on Game Pass now, just by default. Like everything that we seen trailer wise, gameplay wise, could be like rubbish, absolute rubbish, and you'd still get like 10, 15 million people just because it is what it is, right? So
yeah,
it's going to be another like potential cyberpunk moment unless they like the thing is too is like who knows when that gameplay slice or slices that they showed, like who knows like how far or sorry, when that was produced. Like, was it produced like 8 months ago, back when the game was in a super rough state, and now it's looking a lot better? Or is it like, 2 weeks ago and we should be concerned? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, hopefully they're going to make it better, but it's clearly not going to be like a beautiful, perfectly polished, no frame rate drop release. Like, we have to expect that we're going to see issues at launch for sure. It's, given the unless they delay it by like another year or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. Well, I found the issue to my problem. I hear thunder outside. I'm like, why is my internet acting so weird? So if I disconnect, everybody, just want you guys to know that's why. Just want you to know. I'm gonna keep going probably to the hour.
Is Red? Are you here? Sorry,
oh yeah,
he's here, but he's being camera shy today. But
no,
go to the chat for a second.
I'm switching to my freaking computer. But wait, I was gonna
let me shout out the chat. One second. Let me shout out the chat. Shout out to Corey Ford for becoming a channel member. Gold tier, I appreciate you, my dude. Thank you very much. And shout out to Evans for coming to platinum tier channel member. Thank you. I appreciate both of you guys. Thank you very much. Now back to you. Go ahead, you take the floor. Reddit.
Yeah. So I'm thinking you guys liked it more than me.
No,
I wasn't. I'm gonna keep it real. When it came to Arcane's game, Redfall, I wasn't impressed. I feel like I haven't been impressed with Arcane since Dishonored 1. I didn't care for Dishonored 2. I skipped Prey, and then Deathloop, just more the same to me from Dishonored. Where it's just like, if you like that aspect, that's cool. But overall, like, the only thing that really impressed me was Persona. And what was I would say... What was it? The creators for Rick and Morty. That was one. That was I would say
High and Light.
Yes.
You didn't like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids DLC?
No,
dude, that High and Life was good, man.
Pentiment, like, listen, I think I'm gonna love it, but I got angry. I'm not gonna lie, I got angry just because I thought they were gonna show Avowed. Yeah. And I didn't expect it to be that. And I really wish Xbox really set expectations with the show, because I didn't really enjoy it. There wasn't any stand-up besides Persona. Like, that was a big get for me for Xbox.
Yeah.
And being on Game Pass. When I saw Starfield, I just remember the videos I've watched and the experiences I've had with Todd Howard games, like Sweet Little Lies, and there's a good video of why Bethesda wasn't that great. Because Todd Howard likes to sell these big promises and never delivers on them. 200 different endings in Fallout 3. Never happened. 16 times the detail.
Yeah.
All this stuff in handcrafted dungeons and Skyrim, and like the list goes on and on and on. Radiant AI.
Dude, that is AI. Like...
It's just like...
Dude, 1,000 planets. Like,
I have to say, though, man, like, when he announced 1,000 planets, I saw the reaction online. Like, it just made me terrified of like, what the hell are gamers thinking these days? Like, I saw a lot of people that were like hyping it up, right? Like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, dude, I would rather 4 or 5 like beautifully handcrafted worlds. Right, where everything is hand built. Everything is there for a reason, like a Star Wars type thing, right? Like, Star Wars doesn't have 1,000 random planets. Like, they have a select few every single movie that make the impact. But it's kind of like, I mean, I know they're going to have a story, and the story is only going to span a few different planets from what I hear, and that's fine. That's cool, because I'm going to explore those planets, right? I'm like, if there's 4 or 5 like actual story planets and like 995 procedurally generated, those procedurally generated levels are not going to be like super exciting. Like, I don't know, like how exciting could it be when you know that just like some random computer made this? Like, what's the point, man? Like, I don't know.
I think they
like,
said only 6 maps in general were made for the game, and then I think
they said cities, something with cities.
It
I
was
don't know.
yeah, it was with cities.
Yeah.
I mean, like the thing is, No Man's Sky is like popular, so I get it. Like I and there's not really like any competition to No Man's Sky, so it's kind of a blue space, and you know they can go in there and get it. But I'm just saying, like for me personally,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the story. I'm gonna do those like 5 or 6 planets, those 5 or 6 different cities or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Beat
I
the
might
story
check out a
and be
few
done.
other ones for like an hour just so I can like talk about it. Be like, yo, I went to like the ice planet and then I flew to the lava planet. But I'm not gonna have actually like any fun on those planets for sure.
You know what's
And that's a
crazy
good
about
point,
flying?
too.
You can't fly to the planet. Like you can only land and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So you get a cutscene when landing. And I remember when they said 1,000 planets, and I was like, I just laughed and I was like, totally, just like all these
Yeah.
handcrafted dungeons in Skyrim. And then once we saw these like scissor reel, everything was barren. Like literally everything was barren. Like when the ship was landing or taking off. And I was just like to me, Todd very much overpromises, lies, and for whatever reason, people eat it up. People eat it up, and I just don't understand it. It's like people get hyped, and I'm like, guys, if you've seen the history, and I love Oblivion and Morrowind, but he overpromised on those games. And then I had somebody that's like, oh, they're gonna go back to their hardcore RPG roots. And then I was like, okay, cool, sure. We'll see. Then they talk about the RPG, like literally glaze over it.
Yeah.
And don't really talk specifically what the RPG elements are going to be. And I'm just like, yo, I really think it's going to be a light RPG. And it, like, honestly, and then the other excuse is, well, these open barren worlds, mods will make stuff for them. And I'm just like, listen, I love mods. Mods are great on
But
PC.
that's only beneficial
But
to PC.
that's a very much a cop out. That's like Bethesda going like, you guys can do whatever you want with it. And it's just, I can't do it. I can't just give them a big pass because of mods. Like that to me is just dumb.
It probably would have been a different story if this was a third-party game, because you know they can always have that PC cop out. But the fact that this is more so of a console pushing, you know, console exclusivity type of thing, they've been really behind. It looks bad because optimization's not there. The game doesn't look like it's up to par at all. And, you know, there are people going, oh, do you guys not ever play a Bethesda game? Yeah, a lot of people play them. And that's why they call them Bethesda games.
Yeah.
And then think about it. Obsidian, like, this is what, like, people say, oh, you just hate Bethesda or you just hate Xbox in general. I'm like, no. I actually think Obsidian makes better RPGs than Bethesda themselves. And that's why I'm more excited for their titles than Todd's titles. Because, like, they don't glaze over the RPG elements. They have actually good dialogue and writing, and like seeing the shooting and all that in motion, and like at points the enemies don't react. They're getting shot in the back. They're not even turning around, or they're just going like running and they're just still getting shot and they just keep running. It doesn't make any sense. So I was just like,
the AI and that scene, exactly. It like I don't know, the guns didn't have impact. The
sound too.
Yeah, the AI like was just dumb. Like they suicided. They ran to their death instead of like getting cover and shooting you. And I don't know, but I actually agree with the biggest thing that was disappointing for me for that is I walked away from that like not really knowing what the story is and not really caring. Like nothing, absolutely nothing. Like they showed like a couple of seconds of like the first person dialogue, which of course the characters didn't look all that good. They look like sort of last gen models and not very interesting. But that's just it, man. Like I want to play this game for the story, and I feel like that was like the main thing that got glossed over. So it to me it was just like, I guess, like a more graphically impressive version of No Man's Sky, although that's arguable because No Man's Sky has a really like cool graphical aesthetic. But yeah, like I don't know, man. They spent more time on like customizing your crew and stuff like that than they did on the actual story of this game.
How did y'all feel about the comparisons? Like the comparisons came out in rapid fire. Everybody was comparing this to No Man's Sky, the customization, everything down to the T.
I don't got a problem with it though. That's the thing. It's like it's like, is it heavily inspired? Yeah. Like a lot of games get heavily inspired. The only problem I got is if Todd himself's like, yeah, we were never inspired by any other video game. Then I'll be like, okay, I call bullshit there. Yeah. But that's I don't think Todd's saying that. But when I hear it, oh, this is the most handcrafted like planets or environments we've ever had. It's like he's doing it in words where it's just like it's probably true. Like handcrafted, maybe 6 planets or 8, and the rest are procedurally generated. But
overall,
it's gonna be interesting. But like, did you see like what John Linneman was saying in Digital Foundry? Is like they were talking about 1,000 planets or whatever. He's like, yeah, that's a little too much, or like they're not gonna have like a lot of detail because it'll probably be procedural generated. And somebody says, well, it's gonna be on Game Pass, so like people try to wipe away the criticism with the service.
Thing too. Like Game Pass is good, but it also can be looked at as bad for things like this because everybody goes, well, I'm only paying $15, so it's only a game. Like, no, that shouldn't be a pass for a game looking this bad and not ready. And you would think, I don't know, were you guys getting Halo Infinite vibes looking at this whole conference again? I kind of was.
What vibes?
Were you guys getting the Halo Infinite reveal vibes after looking at this conference with some of these first parties? Like obviously Redfall worked. Obviously Redfall looked like.
What do you mean by that exactly? You're talking about like
when we first saw Halo Infinite with the graphics and just how the game wasn't really that optimized and whatnot. It didn't look
just for me. It was just Starfield. Like I thought a lot of the other games looked good.
In the first party category, not the third party. Not counting the third party. Yeah, we're talking about the first
party. What did they show for first party?
They showed Forza,
Starfield, and Redfall.
Forza looked good.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny because they were like, Forza was going on and on about things that we've seen in racing games for like years now.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, like we have like dynamic weather, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Forza Horizon has had that for a while, and they were talking about like I don't know, just like real time damage on the car and showing that. I'm just like, I mean, like the thing is like I should actually just say, like, in general, I'm not too excited about Forza games because Forza to me is just like MLB The Show. Like if Sony comes out and says like, oh, we're gonna have MLB The Show 23, I'm like, okay, cool, like awesome. It's like it's an annual iterative franchise. Like, you know, how can I be super excited about it? It looks good. I'm sure it'll be amazing. It'll be like probably a 90 Metacritic score for that game. But it's not like a game that's gonna like wow me and like, you know, make me excited about the future. It's just kind of like expected at this point, right?
So I wanted to discuss this because it felt weird to me what the press release or the embargo, and I never seen this happen before. Maybe it's happened in the past where they had a 48-hour embargo where they can't announce the games on other platforms, whereas State of Play, right, when they had those games, literally right after it's coming to Xbox, coming to PC, whereas this, it was like Atlas couldn't say it. Actually, they leaked it early, right? Monday, if I recall, he gave it to the press.
Well, no, it was like apparently Xbox leaked it.
Oh, Xbox themselves leaked it because it was on IGN. They said they got the press release or whatever. And some other sites.
People like I think it was Tom Henderson or someone else that said that oh, maybe it was Gematsu. Anyways, one of those websites. They said that they went on to like the press room for Microsoft and Bethesda showcase, and they had actually uploaded the press release, and they just downloaded it, and we're like, oh, like why does this say 2 days from now?
Yeah, that was so weird to me. I was like, that. I don't know how I felt about it. It was really weird because Nintendo doesn't do that. PlayStation doesn't do that when it comes to like announcing third-party titles. It was just weird to see that.
Yeah, dude, I tweeted about that, and I had a lot of people like criticizing the tweet because they're like, oh, like Nintendo and Sony do that too. Like they, and I'm just like, this is a nuanced thing that I just think some people, at least some folks on Twitter, like just went way over their head, which is like Sony will buy rights for a game, right?
Mhm.
And let's just do like Final Fantasy VII remake or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll put down they'll have like the trailer and they'll just say like, you know, exclusive to PlayStation consoles for like at least the next 12 months or whatever, right? So of course they're not going to announce when it's going to come to other platforms because that's the whole point. They bought that like 12-year of you're not even thinking about other platforms. But yeah, like I really cannot recall a time where Nintendo or Sony did something like this, where it's like it is going to be day and date on other platforms, and the publisher was only allowed to mention the Xbox version of it for 20 or for 48 hours, right? Like that is just weird. Like, as you said, like right after the state of play, I get the press releases. I can call them up and show people. I can see like, you know, Capcom immediately just said, you know, Resident Evil 4 is coming out for all these platforms, right? We had Callisto Protocol, these platforms, Final Fantasy 16 is exclusive, Street Fighter is coming to Xbox. Like dude, like everything was just like out in the open. There wasn't any like weird embargo that was going on. So, yeah. It was weird, and I think that they did it, honestly. I think Xbox did it because they want to make some inroads in Japan, and these announcements, if you notice, they only embargoed the Japanese games, right? So
yeah.
I think what they were doing is they wanted to like really attract the attention of the Japanese market and essentially like deceive them, like make everyone there think these games are coming out just for Xbox, and then 48 hours later, when the hype is like died down and maybe people aren't really paying as much attention, that's when you can like more quietly announce like, oh yeah, by the way, coming out on PlayStation 4 too and 5.
Yeah. That was so weird because like everyone was worried. I'm not gonna lie, like people for like Steam users, right, for Persona, like they were like Windows, like because no one buys games on the Windows Store. It's just the games perform worse than the counterparts on Steam and all that. And people like, dude, there's no way it would just be on the Windows Store. They had their even first party games coming to Steam, so it doesn't make any sense. So that was like the whole weird thing about that was they're like, oh yeah, 48 hours, and I was just like, not to say anything.
Like the thing for me that I think actually would have made me feel a lot better about this Bethesda and Xbox showcase is what originally when Wo Long was announced, right? It was announced just for Xbox, and at the show it just showed like it's coming out for Xbox and PC. And to me, I was like, dude, this is huge, man, because Sony paid Team Ninja to get an exclusive Souls-like game, right? Which is Neo, right? They have that franchise on PlayStation, and I was like, did Microsoft literally just do the same thing? They talked to Team Ninja and was like, look, you got Neo out for PlayStation. We want to have our own version. Let's do it in China, right? Do the whole like, you know, Three Kingdoms type thing, and like that's what I thought. I was like, man, like that's a pretty huge announcement, man. Like if this is exclusive to Game Pass and Xbox, like that is a pretty significant win. And then literally like, yeah, a couple days later, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, it's like it's multi-platform. It's coming out for PS4, PS5. Like I was like, okay, like it took the sale out of that announcement. I'm happy because I'll probably end up playing it on PS5, but damn, like that was like a big catch potentially that they just lost.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I thought was like so weird is like I thought for sure if they were gonna have Kojima, that Kojima would be the mic drop. But it would like it's so weird that they had Starfield be the mic drop, which is just weird. But anyways, the other thing too is like, how is there no gameplay or trailer? If Kojima, because this is actually going to be an exclusive game, it seems like for Xbox, like an IP that Microsoft
said, hey, he just confirmed. He just showed up just to say, hey guys, you guys are getting an exclusive from me. That's literally it.
Yeah,
he had
it
no
also
trailer,
reminds me.
He had no nothing. When we got the
reminds me of the video. Remember of Andrew House? It reminded me of that, but Sony, what they did was they didn't put it in their press conference. It was like was it January, literally after the release of MGS5? I think it was in January. No, maybe December. Maybe December or January, where he's with Andrew House and they're talking and saying, yeah, we have a partnership with Kojima. And then they had a trailer that following year with Death Stranding. This it was weird because Tom Henderson was saying like about Overdose, and there's footage, and for whatever reason he didn't even disclose it, and he disclosed it after the Xbox showcase. Oh, it was running on like a Google Pixel or whatever, the game with what's her name from Death Stranding, Mama. And that was important information, but that's just weird because this is going to be the horror game. Cloud, meaning you play it on your Xbox streaming it, or your phone streaming it, or whatever, your PC streaming it. And like it seemed like he had footage, right? But they didn't use it or whatever. But it also made it seem like this is brand new. Like he just started, which is weird. So I don't know if he had the Overdose, which was originally for Stadia, and then he just scrapped it and is doing something completely new. That's like one of the like ways of thinking, because I don't know.
Yeah. Like that was probably for me that I guess would be the biggest news that was dropped. Like that was like, damn, like Kojima is making an exclusive IP for Xbox. That's massive. But yeah, it just kind of like part of the win got taken out of the sales of that announcement, because like show us something, man. Like, yeah, it seems like this would have been in development for Stadia for a while. So I just don't get it. It's really weird. We don't know when. Like, is it like 5 years from now, or 2 years from now, or next year? I don't know. I guess maybe actually in the next year, because they said everything that's being shown off will be playable in the next 12 months. So, like the rumor was that he was making an episodic horror game, right? So maybe like episode 1 of Overdose comes out next year at some point.
Yeah, I heard that the rumor is it's episodic or something like that. That's what the rumor is, right?
Episodic, isn't that little abandoned demo thing? Episodic.
Oh man, here we go.
I don't know, people. I don't know.
What's funny is the snitch. I don't know if he likes to troll or whatever. He has the abandoned logo on the banner.
Yeah.
So
funny. That is funny. Again, the show. Actually, let me.
They did have an extended showcase. The only good thing was
they just added
literally at the end was Stalker.
Yeah. Like dude, like that's the thing. Like I actually just recently just watched the whole show again, and like there's some good games that they showed off there, right? Like there's just a lot of really good games. I think they showed like some really cool indie games, right? Like what's the like As Dusk Falls? I think that one looked good. Like Pentiment kind of looks like AA. What else is there, man? Like there was like Hollow Knight looked good, and just trying to remember. Like there was one like was it Flintlock? I think was one.
Flintlock, yeah. I was happy for Stalker though, especially with everything going on in Ukraine, that they actually were able to at least show something for them. I'm happy for that team.
Yeah.
But same time,
Ravenlock.
Yep.
Like that's just it, man. Like I was just going through. Like I bet you if I had a list, there'd be like 15 games on there that I think I'd want to play. Scorn, right? I have a subscription to Game Pass, so like of course I'm gonna be playing these games, right? I don't know, man. Ara, right? There was Ara. There was like that like Civilization type game, a Plague Tale.
Plague Tale looks pretty good. I forgot to. That's like the third game that I was excited about.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, based on the release calendar, I can probably see like there's gonna be at least like one good game a month coming out that I'm gonna want to play, right? So I think overall the show did a pretty decent job of selling Game Pass. Like it's if you liked 6 or 7 of those games that they showed off, it probably like unless you're the type that likes to buy everything, it you know, like it makes it worth it, man, to do it. But in terms of like the
main
big,
stuff. Yeah.
the big like meaty, like something on the caliber of say like Resident Evil 4, the Callisto Protocol,
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma, Final Fantasy 7 remake, Part 2. Like, dude, like all of those announcements I think are bigger. Like those,
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It was
that,
it was good. Like again, I don't fault them for the third party or the indies showcased at this.
But the problem
show.
is
I
they
don't-
barely had first party IPs.
Yeah,
in
that was the issue because they basically said this is the look into our first party lineup. 12 months or so. Down the road is especially for the system. And I'm looking at, I'm like, bro, that is pretty barren. We only listed 4 games, technically 3, if you were to put a filter on a Switch with Forza, because Forza had 2 games. That's
Forza's just have an expansion for Horizon.
I thought it was a separate game.
well, yeah, like most of the games I just mentioned are going
expansion.
Like most of the games I just mentioned are going to be either multi-platform or like timed exclusive, and it seems like the timed exclusive window for Xbox is usually less. Like Sony likes to buy 6 months or a year or longer, but Microsoft is cool buying like 3 months or 4 months of. So, yeah, like I don't know in terms of like exclusive content. There's a lot of it is just like sort of like DLC. There was like the Hot Wheels expansion.
Mm-hmm.
There was Grounded. There was like Sea of Thieves, like next season or whatever. Like, okay, sure, I don't care about any of that stuff really, but I don't know. Like, what else we got? We got Pentiment. We got Forza. We got the Bethesda stuff.
Starfield and Redfall.
Starfield, Redfall. Like how many they showed like what? I guess 5.
Yeah.
I guess
but like I said, like I don't know, man. They should have set expectations, I think, because going into this, I was like, you had certain people hyping this show up. Here's a list of all these supposed projects.
Yeah.
They're going to be announced, and I won't. And somebody like Big Cloud mentioned, it's like we're gonna see this. We're gonna see an Exiles title. This. It's like okay, cool. I honestly thought the 2 games we would have seen was Hellblade and Avowed on top of what we saw.
Yep.
And when I saw Pentiment, I got angry, even though I know I'm going to like the game, because I thought we would see Avowed. And now hearing Jason saying he had a tweet saying, oh, it's not going to be there, and they switched directors or whatever. Now that has me worried.
Yeah, Avowed is
wow.
Not as far as long as what we thought.
Wow.
But I mean, it's not coming out the next year. Like
that makes it worse though, because you look at the situation from them, and then you go back to Perfect Dark. I'm hearing the same story. It feels like, but it's spreading throughout the studios. Remember, Perfect Dark's director gone, and he had a new director for that. Now you got Avowed going through the same process. Jesus Christ! Like, what is happening?
Well, I mean, like that was probably like less than half an hour of first party, and an hour. Probably hour plus of third party. So it just shows you, man, like how much cash Microsoft has. Like they're just like they're like, look, we got hardly any first party games coming out. Our lineup is like as thin as it's ever been. Yeah. So let's buy this. Like they said they had like I think like they announced 30 games or something at the show, and then they had another like image that they released after of 40, right? So they have like there's like it's like 40 titles that are coming out and coming to Game Pass in the next year. That's wild, man. It's like 4 or 5 of those are first party, and 35 they just bought. Like, could you imagine like Sony or Nintendo being like, dude, like we're gonna buy that game and 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 that game.
And we're just
throw it all in.
2 games.
Like,
but you're right though, Hunter. Like they have to do that, especially Japanese support being so like small, because like. They had to drop the bag on Sega when it came to Yakuza, and 7 did not do well, and they had to drop the bag for it to be on Game Pass 6 months later because it didn't sell well on the platform. And now Persona, like, listen, I think there'll be some people that will download the game, play it, and beat it. But I feel like a lot of the Xbox fan base, though, was saying, yeah, I'm totally going to play Persona 5, and I know these certain gamers, because they're like the big personalities for Xbox. And they went at somebody and they were going to make a bet, and I really like this is P5 Royal. It's like, I'm going to be P5 Royal, and it's like P5 Royal is like 120 hours.
Yeah, 100 hours. Yeah.
Over 100 hours, right? And I don't think like these gamers for Xbox, and I'm not saying all, I'm saying most, will gravitate towards the Japanese games. And I think what's going to end up happening in the future is to keep support is to offer them money to be on Game Pass after the initial sales that aren't good. And I don't know how long that'll be for them to keep doing that, because I think that's going to happen. I think Persona 6 might be a multi-platform